Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's my husband singing in the background, but I hope it's okay to keep recording. And I'm hopeful that whatever I share in today's video will be very helpful for you. My name is Aramide, and I'm excited to have you watching my YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about a very important topic. Today's video is actually long overdue, and I planned to have it, had it recorded last week, but then I had a long, weekend retreat, and I didn't have the time to do that. But right now I'm excited to be recording this video, and most importantly, excited about the fact that you get to watch it. Today's topic is centered around comparison, right? So I don't want to rush the video, and I don't want it to be overchoked. So I'm going to divide today's this topic into two. So today's own is we're going to deal with what's the mindset behind comparison. Why do people compare themselves to other people in a very harmful manner that makes them feel like they're not making any progress? And then in the next video, I'm going to share how you can deal with comparison and deal with it finally, so that you can face your front and forge ahead without being held back by that comparison thing, right? So let's talk about why do people compare. What's the mindset of comparison, right? And for me, whenever I think about comparison, I think about it as a very painful and unfair thing to do to yourself, right? And especially in this social media age where a lot of people put out their best foot forward, right? Nobody puts out a video of them crying or a video of them going through like their worst season. Like, there's literally nobody who has an Instagram page that back to back they're always sharing the ugly and the bad things that are happening to them and nothing good. Everybody always puts their best foot forward online, social media, probably a website, or even bio, right? Everybody always put their best foot online, and as much as possible everybody wants to portray put themselves as the best version of themselves, and sometimes even when they've not arrived there yet. And so because of that, some people might be shaking in their own identities, and their insecurities start to rise because of that, right? So the first thing to note is that comparison is birthed from majorly loss in perspective, right? Loss in perspective of identity, and also a loss in perspective of I had it down here and I want to share. I don't want to miss out on the word. Yeah. So a loss in perspective of your identity and a loss in perspective of your time and season, right? So let's first of all talk about loss in perspective of identity. So identity in terms of not knowing who you are and not having confidence in the value that you can provide, right? And I said it initially that comparison is a very painful and unfair thing to do to yourself. And that's because when you compare yourself to someone in this social media age, where they're putting their best foot forward, like I said, you are literally looking at the good parts that somebody's putting out. Like, you're looking at the best foot that has been put out, and then you're looking back into your life where it's not just the best foot, because in your life you have like the good, the bad, and then the ugly, right? We all have that. And so you're now comparing that good part that person is showing you to the entirety of your life, which, number one, is a very unfair thing to do. If you think about it right now, it's very unfair, right? And that's because when you are doing that, you're not thinking about, okay, this is not the entirety of this person's life, and I don't even know what the struggle and what the bad and the ugly of this person looks like. So let me just cite a brief example. Currently, my non-profit is transitioning to a school, so we're building a free school for children in low-income communities. And if you have the opportunity, if you can, please support us. I've put the link in the description. You can donate and you can support with in-kind items. You can support by sharing our fundraising assets and all of that. But please click on the link in the description to get more information on the school we are building. So we're building a free school for children in low-income communities. And just last week we had an issue that came up, and at some point I felt so, the word is not disconnected, But I just felt so unpleased. Like, I felt so unpleased with how the work was moving, and it felt like I was like, oh my god, why did you give me this assignment? Like, why did you give me this vision to do? I feel like at that point I felt like the burden of the vision that, you know, we are running with. And I kept asking God that, why did you choose me to do this thing? Like, why me? Like, I could have just been working somewhere and not have to, you know, be the one who carries the burden of the entire vision in that sense, right? And I, you know, I had that struggle at the time. I remember I even cried that day because I was like, oh my god, this is so hectic and this is a lot that is happening at the same time. And, you know, another thing that you know happened last week was that I know that we broke the task that we were supposed to do, you know, to the different members of my team. And I gave some tasks to some of my team members, and, you know, I didn't really get like the expected results as I hoped, right? And yes, there was that disconnect, but then that was like part of the struggle of the work that we're doing. But then if we come tomorrow and say, hey, we raised the money, we built the school looks good, you know, everything is looking fine, I do a real video, you know, the beat is looking nice, everything is looking easy, smooth, easy going, as though there was no process, as though there was no struggle, as though there was no one day that I cried and I was like, oh my god, this is a lot, as though there was not a time where I had to, you know, schedule a call and have a hard conversation with some of my team members. But there was that struggle, there was the bad, there was the ugly of the process. But many times, nobody will see the process because I might actually not share it. I might, it depends on me, right? But I might actually not share the process, right? But then I'm definitely going to share that, hey, we raised the money. Thank you very much for donating and for supporting our project. But then sometimes nobody might see the behind the scene. So what if someone else sees that and says, oh my god, see what she did, this looks so good, what am I doing with my life? But then it's like, you don't know the process, you don't know the bad and the ugly, you don't know the times that it was uncomfortable, you don't know the times that I had to leave my house early in the morning and travel all the way to Otta with my baby, with my 6-month baby, and it wasn't comfortable for me. Nobody sees that, right? And that's because I probably haven't expressly put it out, right? But then a lot of people see the good part of it. And so I think that if someone sees that fraction of my life and decides to compare with that is a very unfair thing to do, right? Because there is the back end that they probably do not see. And that's what I'm talking about. A lot of people will always put their best foot forward. I would always put my best foot forward, right? And a lot of people do the same, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't take the best foot forward of everybody and use it as a metric for the progress of your own life and how well you're doing. Because number one, we all have different, you know, pathways, and our journeys are different. But then everybody puts their best foot forward. A lot of people don't share their struggles. A lot of people don't share what is not working well. A lot of people don't talk about it, right? A lot of people share the good parts, share the good things that are happening. And so it is very unfair for you to judge the entirety of your life just out of one side of someone's life. It doesn't make any sense. So when you're looking through social media and you're almost falling into that trap of, okay, am I moving forward? Or see, this person is doing better than me, right? Always learn to snap back and say, okay, this person is putting his or her best foot forward, but it is unfair for me to compare this with the entirety of my own life. That's one part. Then let's also talk about comparison that comes from lack of understanding of times and seasons, right? So there's the first part of comparison where there's an identity crisis. You don't know who you are. You know, there's that insecurity playing out because you're not confident in yourself. And so, you know, there are cases where you see someone who is confident in his or herself or the value, and then you feel like you are nothing compared to that person. There's that side of it. right? But then there's also the side of perspective on times and season. In the video, the goal setting masterclass that we did, you can click the video. I'm going to hyperlink it in the description so that you can take a look at it. In the description, in the video that I did with Oluwaseyi Mojo in our goal setting masterclass, we made mention and we kept saying how important it is for you to understand your times and seasons, right? And it was not only Oluwaseyi that shared that video. Temilade Salami also said the same thing. Edememe as well said the same thing. Please, you can watch the replay in, you know, my YouTube channel. You find all the videos there, right? We kept emphasizing how important it is to understand your times and seasons, because many times when we don't understand our times and seasons, we fall into comparison, because somebody's planting season might not be your someone's planting season might be your own harvest season, which is good for you. But many of the times, you know, it's the other way around, because that's where comparison is better from. Somebody else's harvest season might be the time where you need to plant. So there are different times that, oh, there's a season of our lives where it's a preparation season. So in that season of life, of our lives, all we need to do is to build. A lot of people might not see us, right? It might not even make sense to us at some point. It might just be like, oh my God, I'm doing all the work, but it looks like nobody is seeing me. But then that is your own preparation season. And when you understand that, okay, I'm in the preparation season, even when you see someone shining and harvesting their own fruits of their preparation season, you can always rejoice and be happy with that person, because you know that you're in your own, you have an understanding that you're already in your own season of planting. And after a while, you know, times and seasons will always change. So after the planting season, you definitely get harvest. But then when you don't plant anything, when it is harvest season, you will not have anything to show for it, right? So it is so important that you understand your times and season. I remember when I was pregnant, and you know, at the time when I was pregnant, my husband used to work a lot, right? My husband has a very strong work ethic, guys. So he used to work a lot, and like before I wake up in the morning, he's already like accomplished, you know, quite a number of things. And I remember that I would just wake up in the morning and I'll be so exhausted, literally, and I would not be able to do anything. But then, yeah, I was living with someone who was back to back, smashing his daily, you know, tax list. And at some point, I was wondering, like, it was as though, like, okay, what's happening to me? Like, it's two of us, baby, oh. It's two of us, baby, oh. But it looks like he was like working, doing a lot of things, but I couldn't do anything. And I feel like at that point, God had to just intercept my thinking and correct me. And, you know, the major thing, you know, that's another side of it. And I shared about it in my pregnancy journal. I'll also put the link in the description so that you can read it. You know, it's such a very beautiful book where I shared my pregnancy experience. And God had to renew my mind on pregnancy and the whole journey of motherhood. You know, and he kept saying to me that the fact that I'm carrying a child, I'm carrying a seed, that's like the child of God. I'm working with God, like I'm a co-laborer with God. So even in that state where I could not really do anything, I was doing a lot of things, and God was proud of me in that instance. And so I lost perspective of who I was, what I was doing, and the season that I was in. So at that point, it was completely unfair for me to compare myself to my husband, because my husband was not pregnant. And so I was using my own, my season of pregnancy to compare with someone who wasn't, right? And so there was no basis for comparison at all. And so I remember after that time, after God, you know, corrected me on that, there was a day I went to IG in the morning, and I saw a particular person that I know, and she put out, you know, a post saying that, oh, it's just 9 a.m. in the morning, but it feels like it's the end of the day because she has achieved a lot on her 100 and something to-do list. And at that point, I remember seeing it, and I'm like, Aramide, please face your front, because, you know, this person is not in the same season as you are right now. And so right now, I know that I can afford to wake up and be very productive early in the morning. But then at the time, I could not, because my body needed me, my baby needed me to be healthy and to rest at that point. And so because I understood my time and my season, that okay, this is pregnancy period and it's time to take care of yourself, it's time to rest, it's not a time to stretch yourself just for the health, your safety and that of your baby, right? So because I understood that, I was able to fight off the thoughts, because many times the thought of comparison, that hey, see this person, hey, are you making progress, hey, this person is this years old and so all the amazing things that this person has done, what are you doing? But every time you always need to draw back. Remember I said it's perspective, right? It's perspective. You're forgetting something, you're forgetting who you are, or you're ignorant of who you are, you're forgetting your time and season, or you're ignorant of your time and season. So all you need to do when you're going into that web of comparison is to draw yourself back and to say, hey, this is where I am at a point where I need to sow my seed. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to focus 100% on sowing my seed, so that when it is harvest period, I will also be able to harvest the fruit of my seed soon, right? So this is how I actually think about comparison. It's like you take a mirror, right? Or there's a picture, there's somebody draws a portrait of his or herself, and that person puts that portrait in front of you. And in that sense of that person putting portraits in front of you and speaking to social media, that person puts that portrait in front of you, and you at the other end now turn to a mirror and you start beating yourself up for, oh my God, why don't I look like this person? Meanwhile, you're not meant to look like this person. You're not meant to align to that portrait that you saw. All you need to do was to look at the mirror and see your own self, and see your own strength, and see your own, your own skills, and see your own value. So while that person is putting out his or her value, strength, skills, and all the good things that you can see, it's important that you understand that as much as you can see all the good things, there is also the bad and the ugly as well. And it is unfair for you to take the entirety of your life, like everything about you, and compare it to just one fraction of what you can say about someone. I hope that this video is very helpful for you. This is just a video to prep you on how I think about comparison, and this mindset has literally helped me. Like every time I am going through social media and I am like looking at people and I see their progress stories, and even though it's probably like an opportunity that I applied for and maybe someone else got it but I did not get it, I'll always look at it from the lens of, okay, maybe this is the season, or also from the lens of what did this person do that I did not do, right? Or what does this person have? What network is this person in? What opportunities has this person accessed? Or what kind of process has this person gone through that I probably need to key into, right? Or why am I not getting this thing? Because I don't think that there's a negative finger that is pointing at me. There's always a process to this thing. There's always a back end story that you cannot see, and so you should not beat yourself up just looking at one lens and using the entirety of that one side to judge your life, right? I hope that this video is very helpful for you. Let me know what you think about this mindset in the comment section. Let me know if this is something that you'll be trying out, and when you try it out, let me know how it goes for you, right? So comparison is something that the thoughts will always pop out. It will always pop in because you're human and there's the flesh. The thoughts will always pop in. So please don't put yourself under any pressure. It will always pop in. But when it comes in, all you need to do is you remind yourself, you put yourself into perspective of, number one, your identity, the value that you have. And then number two, your time and season. Remind yourself that, hey, this person is harvesting because this person has planted. It's time for me to plant, and so I'm going to plant with joy. And when it's time to harvest, I will harvest with joy as well. So let me know what you think about the video in the comments. My next video, I'm going to share with you how to deal with comparison, and basically some practical steps that you can take that will help you to deal with comparison. Please share this video and give it a thumbs up if you find it helpful. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you really waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.